Good morning, good afternoon, welcome to, or good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Church of God. I'm your Reverend and host, Reverend R.L. Today we will be talking about, let's see, I gotta choose a topic here. Let's just do God provides, shall we? So, God provides for everyone. That's right. God provides. You could say he doesn't, but he does. God created you. He had a purpose in you. Yes, that's right. God created everyone. With a little twinkle of his eye, he just created us all. That's right. He also gave us the true definition of what we need to know to find salvation. Salvation is within, yes, but it also needs some guidance. You can't just sit there and be a mafioso, thug, or goon and get away with doing things. For example, this is the handbook to know and to understand God. Now, a friend of mine who's playing the legendary game, as I call it, the Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, basically says that, in his opinion, and I'm going to give him, he's listening, is there's two gods. One that's merciful in the New Testament, and one that is downright evil in the Old Testament that smited you for doing wrong. Well, in the beginning, there is one God, but he finally gave in, and he basically, after he did the flood, had his own opinion of how things should be. You see, this Bible is my King James Version. It's very rare to see a Bible with stars. Let me tell you about the stars. It says messianic prophecies and their fulfillments. All verses in the Old Testament refer to the coming of the Messiah as marked with the star. It's true. All verses in the New Testament that fulfill a messianic prophecy that are indicated by a star. And the Gentiles shall come to the light, and kings to the brightness of the rising, which is that. And then, for those things should be done, the scriptures should be fulfilled, a bone of him shall not be broken. So there's two types of stars. There's the beginning stars, which is a light star, and then the filled-in star. For example, Genesis 3:15 speaks of the first messianic prophecy that given to Moses, that Moses wrote. And it says through Adam and Eve, and I will put enmity between thee and women, and between thy seed her seed, and it shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. What was he talking about? He's talking about Jesus. Genesis 3, God already had a plan to bring in the Messiah after the fruit of was eaten in the Garden of Eden. Yeah, plain and simple. Now look around. Every volume in the book has a messianic prophecy. You just got to look for the star. Most people don't even know there's a star. The next star is in Genesis 12, right here. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curses thee. And in they shall in families of the earth be blessed. Bottom line is, God gave us this for a reason. Now we're talking about God provides. He does. He gave you this. He says, stick to it. People say, well, if God provides, then why is there a lot of evil in this world? Well, the problem is there's going to be evil in this world because God gave his prophets, or his disciples, or apostles, telling us what's going on. Now, some people, like my assistant, Aaron, playing the Elder Scrolls, believes that Revelation shouldn't be in the Bible. Well, God had it put in there for a reason. I'm not going to contest it. There was the Apostle Peter who had the Apocalypse of Peter. It's like $50 book. Talks about Peter's revelation and how the world ends. Could be all a dream. We don't know. And then my assistant believes the four Gospels pretty much are the true words of God, even though the Constantine and Opal had to, make it possible by bringing us this little book. But they didn't want anyone to know the book. They kept it in Hebrew or Latin or, Latin, which was a very rare form to read, until experts and masters decided to translate the Latin Vulgate into the first Bible called the Wycliffe Bible. Yeah. Bottom line to you all is it's simple. God gave you this for a reason. It's not just a history book through the times. It talks about things. People don't understand death. Death is easy to understand. We all live, we come into this world, we die. There's a old saying about that in the prophecies of Solomon, who wrote in Ecclesiastics. He basically said in Ecclesiastics that right there, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up, which that is planted. He's saying pretty much there's a life cycle to us. We come into the world, we do our job, and we go out of this world. In the meantime, we're supposed to give praise to our mighty God, the Creator, for putting us on this planet, even though the world might be crappy. People ask me, why is the world crappy? Well, if you look at it, there's reasons for it. The end of times in Timothy 3, 1 through 7 speak on that very much. This know also in the last days, perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of themselves. Covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affections, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure, more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. For that sort that which silly women laden with sins led away with divers lusts, ever learning and never able come to the knowledge of the truth. What does that mean? It means the end of days could be here, could not be there. It could be just that Paul put it in for his own amusement, yet everything is falling into that anyway. So maybe Paul was a seer, he saw the future. But what I do know is if it wasn't for Constantine and Opal and I think Marcius and Marcion and the rest of them trying to put a codex together, a Bible that we the people could have. Right here. This here is my mini travel Bible. This is the one I believe in. This is the one I keep with me. This here states, the end of days will be there. No, the temple has never been rebuilt in Jerusalem. A friend of mine said the Muslims kept the rock there and built over the old temple. That's the case. The temple, the mosque has got to be dissolved to build the temple. He said maybe the Muslims are keeping from revelations happening. He doesn't know, but it's a theory he has. All I could say is we Americans, we have our own freedom of speech and freedom of choice that God gave us. It's on the Bill of Rights. Now, a lot of us say, well, we're Americans, we can do what we want. Maybe, but we had a code of honor. Did you know there was over 500 oral laws or Levitical laws given to us, from periods to shaving to everything, including the full 10 Commandments, or as if you look at it, the 12 Commandments, and Exodus, and Deuteronomy. It was 11 Commandments. They just broke up one. Problem is if you look at it that way, what does that mean? It means God's provided for us. We just need to look for the answer. He provides for everything. Provides for you. God knows in your heart you want that new video game. You'll eventually get it. Even if it's a year or 2 years down the road, you'll get it. You desire it. So remember, God provides for you. He doesn't just sit there and say you're not getting it. Maybe sometimes he doesn't, but he has a reason for what he does. But that's another video. So, God does do what he does for a reason. And he provides. This book tells us right there that God's guidance and love is right here. Old Testament, he was kind of pissed off. We weren't following him. We were following our own ways. He brought down Jesus just so we can get corrected. Jesus gave us the message. With that said, that's part of our salvation. Look for some other videos on the topics. Please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. And thank you. And this is your minister signing off. May God bless the world.